Thank you so much, everyone. Now, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, has resigned. Well, that is as much as we know. Some of the stories and the sources are telling us that he resigned due to ill health. There are other issues that have been tied to his resignation as far as the judiciary and the story is flying around is concerned. But tonight, what we know, of course, and what is vivid in our eyes is that Justice Olukayode Ariwoola of the Supreme Court took the judicial oath of office as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari administered the oath of office on Justice Ariwoola during a swearing-in ceremony held at the council chamber of the presidential villa in Abuja and the nation's capital. Justice Ariwoola, 64 years old, took over from the outgone CJN, Justice Tanko Muhammad, is expected to serve in an acting capacity till further confirmation by the National Judicial Council. While taking the judicial oath, he swore to be faithful and bear true allegiance to the federal government of Nigeria, as well as defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The CJN is a chairman of the Nigerian Judiciary and will spearhead the Supreme Court as well as oversee the Nigerian Judiciary. Take a listen to himself and President Muhammadu Buhari. We get to listen to the soundbite from that event in a moment. Again, I'd like to show you who and what you'll be getting as far as the new acting CJN is concerned. Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, of course, known to be born 1958, 64 years of age, will be taking over from Justice Tanko Muhammad. What does this mean? This is coming on the heels of the protest from justices of the Supreme Court who alleged the situation within the Supreme Court and how the Supreme Court is being administered under Justice Tanko Muhammad. What will change now that we have Justice Ariwoola? All right, let's get talking. We can only get to talk about this matter of how the implication and the significance of Justice Ariwoola's swearing in is just a few hours after Justice Tanko Muhammad's resignation came to light, that he was sworn in as far as the law is concerned. Let's look at the implication. We can only do that with a member of the inner bar of Nigeria, Leonard Six, senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Jibrin Okutepa, who joins us live here. Thank you so much, Mr. Okutepa, for your time.
Thank you, Shehu, for this journalistic arrest warrant. It has brought me to your studio in a manner that I'm not properly dressed. I apologize.
Don't worry, you are properly dressed before this court. And I've announced your appearance. You don't need to do that for yourself. All right. It seems to be a very interesting period in the Nigerian judiciary. The justices of the Supreme Court, we never hear them speak, except in the inner chamber of the Nigerian court. We never hear them protest. But this time around, we saw them. Now, people are tying all of those to Justice Tanko Muhammad's resignation, but the sources are telling us that it's basically on ill health. But what do you make of Justice Tanko's resignation and Justice Ariwoola's swearing in?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate my Lord, the Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, the JSC, now acting CJN of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. First, let me also congratulate His Lordship, the outgone Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Ibrahim Tanko, Mohammed Ibrahim Tanko, CJN as he then was. It's unprecedented in Nigerian history for public officer to resign, even when they are chronically ill. So that His Lordship decided to resign on the basis of ill health, based on what we have read, is commendable, because you can see that a lot of public office holders who are ill, who are sick, have refused to resign. So for me as a person, I must commend His Lordship for that step. Because when your health is no longer allowing you to perform the functions of your office, and it's constitutional. When you look at the provisions of the Constitution, it gives any chief judge or any chief justice of Nigeria who is having a challenge of health and who believes himself or herself not having the requisite capacity to continue in office to resign. So what my Lord Honorable Justice I.T. Mohammed had done is commendable. So I commend him. Now, the task before my Lord Honorable Justice Arewola is not only onerous, doubting, very, 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 very challenging. And I'm happy that His Lordship was one of those justices of the Supreme Court that, for what we read, complained about leadership. And now the leadership baton had been handed over to him. So what I'm expecting, therefore, from His Lordship and millions of Nigerians and lawyers is that he must, as a matter of necessity, provide impeccable, integrity-driven leadership. The leadership that it will be a kind of shining example for other judicial officers to follow. Because the Supreme Court of Nigeria, mark you, is not only a court of law, it's also a court of policy. Now, I expect my Lord Honorable Justice Arewola to lead the Supreme Court, to give us judgments and decisions that have in its contents of justice. Because there are certain judgments you see that are devoid of justice. You see judgments, the justice of the matter is murdered. We are expecting the Supreme Court of Nigeria to deliver judgments that is full of contents of justice.
All right.
Number two,
Okay.
we are expecting the Supreme Court of Nigeria, under his leadership, to give judgments that will bring the unity of this country together. Not a judgment that will bring, that people will begin to interpret and create what appears to be rascality and bringing the credibility of the legal profession to total disrepute.
Because I was going to take you up on that. Now, first and foremost, you saluted the courage of my Lord Justice Tanko Mohammed for stepping down, resigning it. A lot of people will say honorable. Very unusual in this climb. People will rather stayed out until the very end and will never resign. Even though people, I mean, in the past, several years ago, people say, Justice of the Supreme Court, there are notices of dementia and all of that because of the tedious nature of their job. You have to write, you have to pen down your opinion and all of that. But that has happened. There's a controversy which stemmed from, we started a few days ago. Justices of the Supreme Court complaining about the slow pace of judgment and the judicial system in the Supreme Court and in the judiciary. These are some of the issues that came up. Around the petitions or the grievances of the justices, what do you think could have led to that? Because it's bottled up, a lot of people say, it's a bottled up anger from the justices.
If you have read me well, I had said in my write-up when the 14 justices of the Supreme Court wrote that in this our climb, it is unusual for goats to bite, unless, of course, you push that goat to a level of irredeemable, he can no longer keep quiet, then he will bite you. Now, in your intro, you said it is unusual for judges in Nigeria to talk. And I think that their lordships who decided to do what they did must have felt the shoe they were wearing must have been so tight on their legs that they needed to put their thoughts together. And that's why I think, and I'm happy, that my Lord Justice Arewola, who was the number 2 then, and was part of the people who complained, who first of all, as a matter of priority, look into the welfare of Nigerian judges, not only in the Supreme Court, but across the board.
But how did things get this bad? To the point, I mean, because when
Shehu,
you...
that is a question that will be difficult for me.
The legal profession is a noble profession.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, not only the legal profession, the highest ranking judges of Nigeria and the Supreme Court justices, you don't see them talk. It's unnatural for you to see them talk.
You know why
but for things to have
getting,
gotten to this point.
Do you know why things are getting to this level?
Bad? Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because there are no consequences in Nigeria. Now, let me tell you this. In other clime where we come from, once there is an appearance of impropriety, a judicial officer ceases to be a judicial officer. Once there is an appearance of impropriety, a legal practitioner will cease to be a legal practitioner. But in our clime, not only do we see appearance of impropriety and defend it, indeed we defend impropriety under the so-called concept of fundamental rights. And so everybody now in Nigeria, we engage in what I call a utopia fundamental right, to the extent that even when that right is being exercised to the detriment of the stability, peace, and tranquility of Nigeria, people still talk about fundamental rights. So the legal profession that I joined, that I love, that I became a member, was a profession of light. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, it appears to me that darkness has overtaken light in our noble profession, so much so that even those who are not reasonably fit to remain a member of this noble profession are the ones that you see, and nothing is being done. Because in our other jurisdiction where we borrow this profession from, there is a monitoring committee, a monitoring team that monitors even the processes you file. In Nigeria today, for instance, you can brief me subject to what you pay me, and I will go to court to say who is a woman. Another day, another one will pay me, and I will go to court on the same Shehu Okibaloye. I say Shehu is a man. And we do so with such an excitement of arrogance and audacity
because a lot
that
of
Nigerian people look at lawyers now with no respect. That is why I think that my Lord had come to the seat of judgment at an auspicious time. We must enforce our code of ethics religiously. Both at the legal practitioner disciplinary committee must be
up to task.
Look, Shehu, our complaint base must be looked into, because in Nigeria, you may see a lawyer doing something very wrong until you pick your biro and complain and write. Those who have responsibility to discipline lawyer will say there is no complaint.
Let us say, Sam Omasaye wrote.
Yes.
He said, the ghost of Onogen. Now, if you read that piece, it's quite interesting. And you look at back-to-back allegations of corruption against the highest ranking judicial officer in the land, Justice Walter Onogen, bowed out of office in an atmosphere clouded by allegations of corruption. Now, the justices of the Supreme Court came together and wrote against a sitting CJN in like manner. I mean, because the implications are very dire for our society. Judiciary is the bastion of our democracy, is the very rock. If justice is lost, if justice is destroyed, our society is on the brim of collapse. What danger, what imminent danger are we facing?
Shehu, I have said, and I keep saying, and I've been saying it, that in Nigerian society, unfortunately, the legal profession that ought to be the light of the society, of recent, I wrote and I asked, how did we find ourselves here? Because in those days, judges were known to be men and women of Spartan lives. I'm not saying there are no judges in Nigeria that are of impeccable character. There are. But there are other few bad ones also in the legal profession. They are there. The problem is that we have Nigerianized everything in Nigeria. So much so that even the worst wrongdoer, are you with me?
Yeah.
Even the worst wrongdoer is celebrated and canonized and given all manner of praises. Now, when you want to discipline today, you are likely to hear that it is either because it's Hausa Fulani, or it's Yoruba man, or it's Igbo, and so on and so forth. So we must go back to the drawing board. Must we talk about this thing called federal character? If we should do federal character, why do we pick the third 11 instead of the first 11? If we must do federal character, why do we not look for the best to pick? Because in Nigeria, it appears to me, even in our recruitment process, Shane, are you with me?
I'm with you.
Who you know play more significant role than what you know. And until we begin to ask questions, who is this one? What has been his pedigree before you go to the bench? Because in those days, you don't apply it and beg to be made a judicial officer. Nobody lobbies for you. You appear before the judge. Their lordships assess your demeanor, your character, your mien, your comportment, your ability to act like Daniel in the Babylonian kingdom and refuse to eat the king's meat, or behaving like Joseph and run away from Potiphar's wife. Then they are saying, oh, Mr. Okutepa, come over. Tomorrow you are going to be appointed a judicial officer. It was an honor. And then nobody was pursuing money as idol. Judges were not known as people who pursue contract, who go to the airport to welcome governors and chief executive officers. Indeed, it is on record. I think Honorable Justice J.I.C. Taylor also, I can't recall, a chief judge in Lagos was invited by the military officer, military governor to come. He refused. Today, you talk about protocol. You are bringing, you are taking Chief Justice of Nigeria or Chief Judge of a state to go to government house. And when they are to give them what belongs to them, they put advertorial.
All right. In fact, so I've seen a commentary somewhere when someone was describing his opinion piece saying the hierarchy of the arms of government. As far as the CJN is concerned, that the president, and we've seen it happen, that the president shouldn't stay up. It should actually come down and swear an oath, and the CJN should not be up there, down there, and the president up there. Because now the head of the judiciary and the head of the executive should not, those disparities. But one thing that is fundamental here, the politics of appointing the next CJN, because Justice Ariwola is going to be sitting as an acting CJN. Now, there is hierarchy. Justice Ariwola is next to Justice Tanko, and is 64 years of age. By the virtue of the time and the bench and all of that, the prerogative is still on the president to advise or to nominate to this to the NJC, then to the National Assembly. Now, what do you make of what is
if there is any arm of government that has, especially at the federal level, not of the state. In the state, you see some most senior judicial officers being sidelined and their junior brought ahead of them. Now that my Lord Honorable Justice Ariwola had been made the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria by constitutional provision, because by constitutional provision, the president has no choice. There is a vacancy, he must be appointed. Now, in the
substantive position?
No, well,
for acting, yeah.
The Constitution said the next most senior
will take over.
In acting capacity.
But in substantive position?
In substantive position.
Is at the discretion of the president to nominate?
Not really at the discretion. The president, yes, the president can nominate and appoint, but it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely that any other person other than his lordship.
Because in the hierarchy, Leonard Sikh, is after Justice Ariwola, is Justice Datijo Mohammed, then followed by Justice Kekere Ekun, followed by Justice Unweze.
Yes.
Now, one would think that naturally Justice Ariwola should be appointed, but that's the discretion of the president to nominate to the CJN. Isn't that what the law says?
The law vests in the president somebody he feels can be Chief Justice of Nigeria and make recommendation. But why do you want to bypass my Lord Justice Ariwola? Is he suffering from many infirmities of the body or of anything? Do we have any advice report about him? Is he lacking in capacity?
So procedurally and morally, Justice Ariwoola should be
the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
How long can the president take before he passes the name to the NJC?
No, I don't know of any time frame. But by virtue of constitutional provision, his lordship can act for 3 months, renewable for another 3 months. If he is not confirmed by a constitution, then the next most senior justices of the Supreme Court then takes over from him. Until that.
All right. So now, by the Constitution provides that the Supreme Court should be composed by nothing more than 21 justices.
And they have never had a full complement of that court.
In fact, it's now worsened.
It's worse.
Justice Rose Vival has retired.
Yes.
Justice Mary
At the material time that my Lord retired, there were 15.
Yes.
Now there are 14.
There are 14.
Including my Lord Honorable Justice Ariwoola. So and few will soon go.
Absolutely.
And I have said, these men and women of noble character and virtues sitting in the Supreme Court under most unhygienic environment have a lot of cases coming from all over Nigeria.
Do you know? Lacking legal assistance.
Lacking legal assistance, lacking diesels, lacking good working environment. You need to go to Supreme Court and see the chambers of their lordships and travel to other climes and see the chambers of magistrates in other jurisdictions outside of this country. I have said, and I am saying here, that the Nigerian judiciary has been rendered a slave to the executive and the legislature.
Is it true, the commentary that said...
And let me say this, because you say something. I did not see why my Lord Honorable, any of the chief judges of Nigeria, or any chief justice of Nigeria should go to Doda Barrack or Aso Rock to be sworn in. Is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria a commissioner of oath? We have not looked at the legality of this.
So usually,
any of the justices
it should have been done at the Supreme Court.
At the Supreme Court. Have you ever seen the Senate President be sworn in by the President
and the Council Chamber?
At the Council Chamber.
So it stands logic on its head, isn't it?
So, and then when they want to swear in the President, did he come to the Supreme Court to be sworn in? So why should the judiciary go to the...
So the commentary by that person who says the president...
We must look at this precedent.
So this is what the president was trying to describe. That the CJN was standing in
front of the president.
And it was just like that above. And this is not this only president.
It's not the only president.
This has
been the tradition. And it is time now.
And you see the CJN shaking up there.
And I've been looking at the president as if the president is the almighty.
Yeah, so the president was making inference and saying, look, this is the head of the executive. This is the head of judiciary. These are arms of government. They have coordinate powers. They are not.
I don't even agree with you that they have coordinate power. The only arm of government that has license to decree that somebody should die is the judiciary. The president cannot do so. For me, the most important arm of government is the judiciary. Because when there is a dispute today, when you talk about the rule of law, who interprets Nigerian constitution, when the president and the attorney general went to the Supreme Court, they were told in America, you heard about the Rio case that has just been decided by the court. So in all civilized society, the judiciary is de facto. But in our own society, the judiciary is being looked like they are beggars. When you buy what is their entitlement, governors and some other persons, I'm not talking about it. Look at the totality of judiciary. In fact, when I wrote the other time, a learned jurist of impeccable character say in some states, some chief judges are like judicial tigers, terrorizing their brother judges and asking for unmerited favors from them. And let me tell you, no chief judge is more important than the other judges in the court. It's just simply that you have the privilege to become the head of the judiciary. So my final advice to my Lord Honorable Justice Ariwoola on this important matter is that let him carry all his brother judges along with him as he assumed duty. Whatever entitlement is there for them should be paid to them. Then he should look at the registry of the Supreme Court. And for his work to be properly handled. Some matters are in the Supreme Court since God knows when. They are not listed.
All right.
He must look at the registry of the Supreme Court and the registry of all our courts.
Yeah.
He must look at the National Judicial Council. The National Judicial Council must not just back in, it must bite.
Bite.
Otherwise, people are fed up. People will write petition. The kind of format of how petition is to be written against judicial officers with oath, this number has discouraged something. Right. The same thing with the legal profession.
Let us see, we're due for a break, but I must sincerely thank you so much for your industry and always the knowledge that you share on this program. And that's the reason why I always come to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shehu. I insist on being put on notice next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Mr. Jibrin. I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.